I was thinking about you and I was thinking about me, and I thought, let's think together. How about that? Hey, I'm back. Thank you for returning to my channel and for checking this out. If it's your first time at my channel, please know I am a new YouTuber who is just trying to be a blessing and trying to live her fullest area of obedience. And YouTube is definitely a area that I am learning to be obedient in. If you're a Christian blogger, a Christian anything, you know that sometimes God will have you do things that are completely and totally out of your comfort zone, right? And that is exactly what this YouTube channel has been for me. Hi there. I am so glad you're back. Or if this is your first time, I want you to know I'm so glad you're here. It's a very much a new experience for me. I am a new YouTuber who is over 40, well over 40. I'm actually much older, much over 40, but I am really trying my hand at ministry online. And I really feel like it's what I'm supposed to do, and I'm being obedient. So thank you for being a part of my obedience journey. I tell you, my success indicator is not going to be right now how many people come to my channel. It's just really for me honestly an exercise in obedience. But of course, I want to grow it. But I want to see if I can be obedient to do something that I know absolutely nothing about or have any experience in, and continue to be faithful. So you watch me. And if you find in a few months I have no videos, I want you to call me out. I mean, because, I mean, put a comment on there and say, hey, you weren't faithful, get back on it. Because I really believe and know that this is part of my path. And I'm intimidated by it to some degree, but at the same time, it's like with anything, when you obey God and he tells you to go some certain direction, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I have no provision, I have no this, I have no that. But guess what? That's when your faith will kick in. You faith is easy when everything is normal and comfortable and complacent, right? Faith kicks in when you have to step out and do something that you completely have to learn to do, or that you don't understand at all. And so that's what YouTube is for me. So thank you for being part of my journey. I hope you see me get better. I hope you see me bless you more and more in some way. Then I'll know I'm fruitful. So anyway, I was thinking, and I do my best thinking when I'm driving. How about you? It's just something about when well, let me clarify that. When I'm driving alone, because when people are in the car, I think other things, right? And they're not always good. No, but I'm kidding. But I was thinking, and I was really pondering. So I want you to just kind of go with me in this train of thought. And I would love to hear in your comments if you've ever been here, or how have you ever felt this way. So again, I am TC, and this is my channel. Let's get started. Alrighty. My thinking was first about what I was going to eat today. Now, that's not what this video is about, but I'm giving you a trajectory. So bear with me. That was my first thought. You know how you're driving home from work and you're thinking, what will I eat? What's going to happen later on? Do I need to get my nails done? What is my day and evening going to take shape like? But there was something that was kind of nagging me. And I felt like this. I felt like I was in a bit of a silo. And let me tell you why. On my way from leaving my office, I was talking with one of my colleagues, and she had a family member who was giving birth to a baby, but the baby was diagnosed with a lot of trouble. Even before her little birth, she was diagnosed with a prognosis that she was not going to live past birth. And she and I chatted about this a few times, and that little girl's name just kind of stuck in my spirit. So I continued to pray. I prayed that God would turn that diagnosis around. And we talked about it, and I said, you know what? No matter what people say, or no matter what diagnosis people get, or no matter what a doctor says, I'm always going to pray for healing. I don't care what they say you have. If you say, Sister Terry, pray for me, I'm going to pray for healing. That's the way I'm going to go. Okay. If they say you have 2 days to live, I'm gonna pray God heals you and raises you up, because I know too many stories. I know too many examples in the Bible where things looked bleak and God just did a swoop down into the world of men and turned things around. But long story short, when I was leaving today, um, this colleague told me that the baby passed. The baby was born and the baby passed. And she showed me a picture of this beautiful little person. And I'm going to be honest, I was like, man, I've been a Christian for almost 30 years now, and there are times when you pray and it seems like your prayers go into a silo, like right here on the screen. You're like, okay, God, did you hear me? Did I not say it correctly? I'll be honest. I've been times where I've been like, God, is English your first language? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you understand me? Do we come from the same place, or can we understand one another? I'm going to be honest. Now, look, hey, what's the point in me telling you my experience if I'm going to pretend to be fake and always happy and floating from one tulip to the other? No, sometimes when God says no to whatever we asked for, we feel like our prayers go into some kind of silo. This silo was my washing machine, but I really felt that way. And do you know, the truth of the matter is God took me to his word. And that's where I always find my peace. And I want you, if you have not ever read Job 38, do you know I almost said Job? I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from. But if you haven't read Job 38, I want you to read it. And whenever you feel this way, because it really gives you some perspective. The first time I was even introduced to this was maybe 20 years ago after one of my brothers died. And he was the brother that I was closest to in age. We grew up together. My childhood memories were with him because he and I were the closest in age. The rest of them were older and doing their thing, right? So he and we have the memories of getting in trouble together and all these experiences together, popping firecrackers together. And when God took him, I just didn't understand it. And I remember being so broken and so hurt. And I'm like, God, I served you. I prayed. You said anything I ask in your name. You said you're a healer. And do you know that I sat in this big old lazy boy chair in my mom's great big old living room? No one was in there but me, and I was smart enough to go to the word. But honestly, if I remember correctly, I was looking for one of those Psalms that'll be like, Heavenly Father, where art thou when I needest thee? Thou art with me. Thou liftest me up into, I was looking for one of those. But do you know God, I mean, literally led me to Job 38. I kid you not. He led me here, and he led me to the fourth verse, and my eyes kind of just dropped. Has that ever happened to you? Just dropped on something and it was so relevant. He said, where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? And then God goes into this whole whole dialogue of really how stupid you are and how limited you are in your knowledge. The fact that he knows everything. He created everything. He created a purpose for everything. He created our days on earth, right? So the all of knowing this, God kind of checked me, and I never ever quite questioned him the same way again. Now, sometimes I have questioned him when other family members have died, or if something happened like this baby dying. I'll be like, God, why? I've done that through the years, right? And I think everybody has. And here's the beautiful thing. I feel like God can handle your questions. God, when you say why, or if you have questions, or if you have doubts, he's not up in heaven running around like, oh Lord, what are we going to do? He's doubting me. She's doubting me. He's not doing that. He is still boldly planted on the throne, and he can handle it. He doesn't have a sense of insecurity or a complex. He can handle your doubts. He can handle your questions. The older and the more mature you get in the Lord, though, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Your questions you won't have them as much. You won't have them probably ever. You'll get into a point of trust. But that's maturity, and that takes years to get to. But what I want you to remember, when you go through a moment where you ask for something and you pray, and God does not give you what you want, okay? I want you to be very careful with that. I want you to be actually cautious. I want you to remember that you are so not God, okay? You have no clue what's ahead. You have no clue what's behind. you see just a little bitty piece of things. Do you see this here? The in part, for we know. I love the way the King James says this. Now, look, I am not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. I don't pretend to be one. Okay. But what I am is somebody who loves God's word. So what I'm saying is, do you see this here? You see in part. We don't know everything. Here's the funny thing about it. I remember just along my lines of thinking one day about my brother dying. My brother was kind of out in the world. He had just given his life to the Lord, but he lived kind of wild up until that point. And he was a baby Christian, so he may have gone back to some things. Who knows? But what if God decided to take him when he took him from a heart attack, natural causes, relatively painless? What if God decided not to take him then, and the enemy had a plan that I didn't even know about, where my brother would have suffered a horrible, painful, humiliating death? What if? I mean, I don't know that that's the case, but what if? And God said, no, you won't, Satan. I'm going to take him to be with me now, and I'm going to spare him that. I'm going to spare that family that. Who knows what is going on behind the scenes of our natural experience? Stop questioning God. We see a piece. We see in part, and we won't know what we need to know until we are with him, when we can see him face to face, right? So remember that. And here's another thing about healing. Again, I'm no pastor, not trained to be one, not called to be one. But I'm going to tell you this much. God is faithful to his word. He does heal. He may choose to heal your loved one on this side of heaven, which is earth, or he may choose to wait until they go into that glorified state with him and heal them over there. And Paul said that way is much better anyway, right? So that gave me so much peace when I thought about the baby today who didn't make it here. And just remember that it's a directional thing. He may answer your prayer up there, or he may answer it down here on earth rather, but he will answer it. So I'm going to go back to my life, honey. I'm going to go back to driving and doing my thing and living my life, knowing that God's got those big things under control. All he needs for me to do is obey him and to trust him, right? So I'll be blogging at godsygirl.com. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. What are you supposed to be doing? Do what you're supposed to be doing and let God be God. Hey, I'm going to also be blogging at marriedtoapastor.com, because I'm married to a pastor. I'm a senior pastor's wife who enjoys the journey. And I say senior often because it's a different road. It's a different role, and it's a different trajectory. So I want those senior pastors' wives out there to know that I get it. I get it. So again, here's what you do. You're going to trust. You're going to do this. And you're going to do this. Amen. That's what I want you to do. And I purposely did not put a graphic here because it's simple. Just like this slide is simple, that's all you need to think about. It needs to be simple, that you trust, obey, and just relax in the Lord, knowing that he's got this covered. He's going to sometimes ask you to do things that are out of your comfort zone. He's going to ask you to do things that are crazy. Check out my blog post on that on Godsy Girl. All right. So I want you to show some love to this post. Okay. I am still very new to girl. I'm very new. I'm a very new girl. I'm new girl to YouTube. I'm new girl to YouTube. So I do want you to please like this. Hit that like button for me. That shows YouTube that I'm a video YouTuber worth having around. And then if you would share it, that'll help expand my audience. And it confirms that God has got me in the right place. And I definitely want you to subscribe, okay? So I love you. I bless you. And thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.